Welcome to the next video and our player profile video. It's Alan Sean from the Fan Pub.
Well, welcome back, and we are going to kick it off with another video. The format is simple. I don't tell Al what I'm about to talk about. He has no idea what player I'm going to pick out of the ether, and I'm going to just tell you all about that player, and then Al is going to come in with his thoughts too. And obviously your feedback will help shape some of these videos to move forward. We're really looking at players that are kind of in that interesting range where they're on the ADP and they could be steals there, big climbers, big fallers, whatever. So the series has been based on all of that kind of metrics. And the player I want to talk about today is a quarterback. So I want to bring up a quarterback for this one, and I want to see what your opinion on this guy is for this season. So last year, obviously we know who the number one was, but this year I want to talk about a player that's kind of started to find his form last year. We did very well.
Is it Kirk Cousins?
No, it's not.
Oh,
it's
right.
Deshaun Watson for this
Okay.
year as a quarterback. I'm kind of curious for your feedback around Deshaun Watson. Now, I've got my opinion, but I'm really interested in yours first.
Right.
How do you feel about him? Where his ADP currently sits? He has created some interesting controversy. Obviously, there's a lot of discussion around those top 5 quarterbacks for this year. A lot of people will tell you naturally in videos, and this is the reason I'm bringing up a quarterback at this stage. A lot of people, and particularly, I like to think we're analysts. That's the way I like to look at it. I like to think we're good analysts rather than experts. Experts is not right because no one's really an expert. You're an analyst, and if you do good analysts data, that will spell out from year to year. That's the key, and that's what we've been trying to show people on our videos. That's why I believe we're still the best kept secret on the internet, even though we've crept over 1,000 subscribers. We still need to climb further. We need to show people more and more and get more recognised by some of these other people who put stuff out but don't realise we're a year ahead of your trend. And that's what we're doing with this video series. We're trying to highlight things. So,
Right, my thoughts on Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson,
He's a highly talented player.
currently going ADP?
He's going 54, one below Aaron Rodgers.
Is that fair or not fair?
I think it is fair, yeah. I think it is fair.
Based on what's happened with Aaron, that seems a fair point, isn't it? I mean, Aaron has the potential to be any given year number one, but he has had struggles. The team has
he's
some
had
issues.
injury issues, hasn't
Yes, he
more than
has.
anything, especially recently.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson, I think he started off quite slowly last year. I mean, he's coming off on a year in ACL, and he had a fantastic rookie year. He showed glimpses of, being a superstar, didn't he? Last year he came in, he was a bit rusty, rightly so, and probably a bit tentative because of the injury.
Took a few weeks to get going.
Yeah,
didn't it?
but when he did get going, absolutely, he really started to shine again.
So thoughts for this season? If you had to rate him right now, at the moment he's QB what? At the moment, Deshaun Watson 4. Okay. Do you think that there's any climb in that? Do you think he can go up any further, or do you think he should really drop down a little?
I'm comfortable with him being below Mahomes. I love Andrew Luck. I love Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson.
Would you argue with any of those being in that top sort of 4 range?
No.
Right.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay. So if I had to press you, because this is a tricky one, right? So think of this, right? I'm not actually saying, and this is one of the keys actually, with my opinion, this is totally me. Any strategy can work at any given year. There's no argument from me that that's possible. And also equally, it's maddening and madness actually if analysts say, yeah, you can let quarterbacks fall. Yes, you can, because you can get a quarterback later. Of course you can. But elite ones are elite. And if you get a good one, it does give you an edge over your competition. I don't think there's any denying this. Now, when we've run the data through, we've proved this time and time again. So when we've talked about quarterbacks, I think we've done okay with those most of the time. I mean, we did get, we did mention, Deshaun Watson last year in bowl prediction. I don't think we got that right. We got some elements of it right. It wasn't really a big hit, but it was a hit. It was on the edge of a hit. But I think what we're seeing is a guy that has more in him. That's what I'm trying to highlight with this quarterback. So what I want to say about him is simply this. He is my number one quarterback for this year. I'm not going to deny this. I've got shares of him. I think he's actually really fantastic. He's had a year removed from that ACL. He's running well, and he's running with some skill to it. So there's more slight, he's not taking those risks he did in that year where he did his ACL. He's more savvy to his game. You couple it all together, he got 4,000 yards last year. What was only missing from the really big total, the number one total, was the touchdowns. Just look at the offense that they've got around him now. Look at the defense that they've got in place.
Do you think if Paul Fuller had stayed fit, there's that
I think
hypothetical reason?
Yeah, I think so. But I think now there's a difference. So I think when we look at the team as a group, and you think, okay, let's say Will Fuller does get banged up again and only plays a bit of the season. But they've got Kitty Kuti. So I think as a team, they've got pieces ready to step up. And as a game, no matter what we think about the running game, it's solid enough to carry the team, even if it's Lamar Miller doing the job.
They've lost Alfred Blue.
Yeah, okay, it's a big loss, but I think they'll live with it. So I think he could be the number one quarterback for this year in terms of overall points. We can look at Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes' time, he will still be brilliant, no doubt, because the offense will be brilliant. That's what they do. But I think if you're looking for the player that just does a little bit more, and it will be split hairs, that's all it will be. I just think it could well be him. It wouldn't surprise me. The player that would worry me the most is the one we'll talk about as a quarterback in the next video.
Okay, well, I can see what you're saying. Would I take him first out of all those quarterbacks? I probably wouldn't.
Right, that's fine.
But I wouldn't argue that he could finish one.
That's fine, and I wouldn't necessarily need to take him number one, which I haven't had to, which is the
and
great
that's
thing.
The key to
that's
all,
the great
everything,
thing,
isn't it?
Yeah. I haven't had to because everybody else is taking other quarterbacks ahead of him, which is fantastic for as far as I can see.
Do you know who QB5 is?
No.
And I think this is probably wrong, although he's
no,
a great
I don't.
And I can see why,
Yeah.
but I still think it's a little early, and that's Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I mean...
Great talent.
There's probably a couple of videos in two more quarterbacks, actually, and we will... I think what we'll do is, not spoiling it, but I think we will come back and talk about a couple of quarterbacks, and that would be great for you to see those as well, because they're an important metrics in fantasy football, and they need a bit of love. So
is everyone in favour of taking a late quarterback normally, aren't
they are, and the problem is that's fine until you're behind the 8 ball. So the year you get it wrong, and I know this from experience of waiting. So you wait, and then you think, I know what I'll do. I'll be a bit cunning here. I'll take a Jameis Winston and someone else because you thought that he was going to have an up year based on the fact he'd had 2 years of 4,000 yards. I thought, well, I'm on a winner here. This is great. I can get this guy late. No one's touching him. He's going to do more than next year. No, that's not how it went. It made me look ridiculous, and I was well behind. And it felt like I was half a player back, maybe even a full player some weeks based on scoring. And that really hurts your team in fantasy, particularly in redraft. I mean, quarterbacks, they have a value everywhere, and we're not talking 6-point touchdowns. We're just talking about 4-point touchdowns here. There's no special metrics to it. But
so you were in pain because that's
a lot of pain.
I don't like to hear that. That's terrible.
Well, I'm sorry that it affects you in such a deep way. If
it
affects you,
it's very upsetting.
If it affects you the same way it's affected me taking bad quarterbacks, then please leave a message.
Fitzmagic didn't. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he did hurt me bad. Yeah, we've all had.
How many turnovers?
6 in a game I had from him. Yeah, after his purple patch where he'd thrown like 50 touchdowns or something crazy, and then the one game I put him in, he threw 6 interceptions, which cost me a week.
Why we all love him.
That's why we love him.
Okay, well, it's interesting. I mean, I think it's about finding the right quarterback. I mean, if you're going to go late, like last year I picked up Trubisky and two of the big league, and they're taking one late, and he did
prove to be a very, very savvy move.
He actually did really well.
Yeah.
I actually traded him in both.
But proved to be a savvy move, and that's the thing. It's getting if you're gonna go in early, you've got to be sure you're getting a top 5 guy. If you're not sure, then there's no point. You might as well wait, and that's the reality. But if you do go high, you are risking something. But you don't want to go in too high. I think you always need at least 3 good players.
Does it depend
first.
on the type of league? If it's PPR, doesn't that make all the other outfield players more?
Yeah, it probably does. But in redraft, I think there's a reason to actually target, which we do see a little bit, but not enough.
But we play standard in some of our leagues. If it was a PPR league, where
I think you might be waiting a little bit longer before you pull the trigger on your first trigger man.
So it all depends on the circumstances of your league.
For the purposes of this video, do not sleep on. If you believe someone is elite and you've got a good balance to your team, then why can't you take your trigger man early? There's no reason.
Okay, well, let us know what you think. Deshaun Watson, quarterback 1.
Thanks for watching, listening, and hopefully subscribing and liking, and please share the videos where you can. We look forward to your input and feedback. Thanks for watching.